So after playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2 and admiring all the hard work and detail Rockstar put into the game, I've actually been thinking of how some of Red Dead Redemption 2's details and features could work in Buddy 2. Now please note, this is just my interpretation of how these features could work. It does not mean Buddy 2 are going to have these RPG elements like Red Dead 2 has, it's just speculation. I'm also going to be basing these around the more advanced AI rumour that's been going around, so some of these might seem far-fetched, but going off the level of detail in Red Dead Redemption 2, these could be possible. In Red Dead Redemption 2, when you get busted, there's a chance of one of Arthur's gang members coming to bust him out. Sometimes Hosea will bring the law enforcement some drinks, or Dutch will blow a wall in the jail. Either way, add some variety to the busted system rather than just, respawning outside the nearest police station or whatever. So how could this work in Buddy 2? Well, my first thought was to have different busted scenarios, like, say one time you get busted you might be suspended, next you might just have to stay after class, lawn mowing, graffiti cleaning, but of course there's much more to this. I do think like Red Dead Redemption 2 there should be different scenarios for, well, all these scenarios as well. Like one scenario, you could be in after school detention and one of your friends in the story, or another main character pulls a fire alarm to get you out of there, a rather peaceful way to get out of detention. Another scenario could be, your friend fakes a fight with somebody outside the classroom, the teacher who's supposed to be watching you gets distracted and you can sneak out of there, but after a short while you get a wanted level because, well, they sort of know you're not there anymore. Or a full one if you're actually spied by that teacher. And of course, the one where you just wait out detention, you have a very short montage of our character looking like they'd want to hang themselves right now. Or a mix of these, like say you could be in detention but the principal calls you into his office and you get the reprimanding one instead. A scenario for the lawn mowing one, for example, could be to have the lawnmower randomly die out on you. So the detention minigame is cut very short. I can't really think of any busted scenarios for the police however. One of the most defining features of Red Dead Redemption 2 is the world and characters and how they react to Arthur and how he acts during the game. In Red Dead Redemption 2, sometimes if you kill somebody, you might encounter their family member or somebody like it. Hell, for Buddy 2 this doesn't even need to be changed. Imagine getting into a fight with somebody and you win. Next in-game day begins, you go to the bathroom, only to get literally pulled aside by the brother of the guy you beat up yesterday, and that brother tries to give you a swirly or tries to beat you up, or just confronts you and says something along the lines of if he sees you again he's going to kill you. Just something like that. Or, even put the click feature to even more use. Do what the Greasers did in the first Buddy. Say, after pissing them off, a small chance of a setup happens where they do something to lure you down an alleyway or behind one of the school buildings to jump you in a 6 versus 1. Now these could be random too, like one time it could be a random jump attack, next it could be a friend of theirs who isn't a part of the Greaser clique to lure you away pretending to be your friend. Or you can successfully apologise and avoid the whole scenario, but the cliques will still be wary of you and, well, give you a bit more of a hostile treatment. NPCs could also remember how we've acted towards them. Say, after bullying a nerd for his lunch money, next time you see him, he'll start purposely avoid you, and he'll start acting intimidated whenever you talk to him. If you can still kiss girls and you cheat on your girlfriend or boyfriend if Rockstar want to keep our protagonist bisexual, then there should definitely be some repercussions for cheating. Like when trying to flirt, there's a higher chance of being rejected because you have a reputation for being a cheating scumbag. Now this was sort of in the first Buddy where if you kissed 2 different girls in front of each other, they'd start slapping you and you wouldn't be able to kiss them again until, well, say you encounter them again by travelling halfway around the school. And then of course, they just forget about it. But I do think going off Red Dead Redemption 2's NPCs and how they remember stuff, this could almost certainly work for Buddy 2. Now sometimes in Red Dead Redemption 2, if you shot somebody but didn't kill them, they'd respawn with bandages. Now for Buddy 2 this could be bruises, bloody noses and stained clothes. So for example, say you uppercut somebody and tackle them over some mud at like, 8:30 in the morning. You see them again at 2 PM in the afternoon, but their clothes are dirty and they're sporting a shiny black eye. Of course this should definitely happen to our character too, and people should react to us. Like if we're really dirty after a fight in the mud, students could mock us and take photos or something, to give us an incentive to actually clean up. And yes, I know the preppies in the first Buddy love to mock you for being poor, but being covered in mud should definitely contribute to that. Bruises and black eyes should last for a few in-game days too, depending on how severe it was. Like being decked in the eye should definitely last for about 3 in-game days, while battling off your bike down some stairs should be about a week or so. Now this part is going off the more advanced AI rumour going around, but if we somehow humiliate ourselves, either by getting knocked out by somebody who's really fat or really weak, or wearing something stupid like a gnome outfit,
hello, me old chum.
I feel like our character should be mocked or reminded of it for a while. Like walking down the hallway after being beaten up by, let's say Algernon. After you respawn you can hear people talking about how Algernon finally won a fight for the first time in his life. Some might even point to you while you're walking down the hallway, and some might even say something along the lines of that's the guy that got beaten up yesterday. And maybe the character who beat you up himself can actually be heard gloating about it and taunt you again when you actually go and confront him. Now in Red Dead Redemption 2 we have our classic honour system, where depending on how we act in the world we can be a good person or a bad person, And in Buddy 2 this could be a reputation meter. I know Buddy 1 has this already, but I don't just mean for clicks, I mean in general. We could have our typical click reputation meter, and a general one. For example, if we help out the greasers a lot, we could gain a good reputation with them, but if we go around town and assault random people, we could gain a rather bad reputation around the town, where people know us as a guy who just, well, goes around assaulting everybody, a real troublemaker who's a danger to be around. And if the more advanced AI rumour is to be believed, this could even result in the greasers themselves having a more dangerous reputation for knowingly having us hang around with them. Now, as we know, in Red Dead Redemption 2, your personal horse requires a lot of care for you to bond with it. Now, unless our character is a real weirdo, we probably won't be seeing bike relations, but I do think bike care can play a big role in this. Like for example, keeping our bike clean for one. After riding in dirt or mud or whatever, you start to notice your bike dirtying up, much like it does in GTA 5, but rather than our bike cleaning itself up, we have to clean it ourselves or visit a bike mod shop. Now in Red Dead Redemption 2, if we actually fall off a cliff too many times, our horse begins to, well, die, and the Buddy equivalent to this could be our bike starts to deform over time, depending on how we crash. For example, a very heavy crash into a wall should deform our front wheel heavily to the point it's unrideable, which then makes us have a choice. Do we either forget our bikes and move on, or do we pick it up and wheel it to the bike shop to get it repaired? Now speaking of bike mods, as they were scrapped from the original version of Buddy, it'd be nice to see what upgrades we can have aside from, just painting it different colours. In Red Dead Redemption 2 we can also purchase a care pack for our horse, but for Buddy I think this could be a bike repair kit. Like a pump or something. I don't actually know much about bikes, so I can't give any more examples, and that's why I'm sort of being quite vague on this part. But Rockstar should definitely throw in a reference to Buddy 1 by having some bike mods named C785, 767 in titanium, and a 976. If Rockstar want to keep the RPG stuff, I think being able to buy helmets and storing them on our bike is a good idea to minimise damage when we do smack our heads off the walls or whatever. I'd also like to see skateboarding play a much larger role this time too. Rather than just being a way to travel faster, I'd like to see some tricks added. I'm not expecting anything like the Tony Hawk series, but just basic tricks, a bit more realistic if you will. Like trying to grind on a rail for example could result in us bailing and losing health when we end up smacking our head off the concrete. This could also be a really nice throwback to the Thrasher Skate and Destroy series on PS1 as well. From my knowledge of that game, which I can't actually remember because it's been ages since I last played it, but I believe that game went for a more realistic approach unlike the Tony Hawk series, which works well with the Rockstar Advanced Gaming Engine that's been used since, well, table tennis. In Red Dead Redemption 2, when customising Arthur, we're understandably limited in customising him because of the Wild Western theme, but I'd hope that Buddy 2 gives us the same clothing choices as the first game, as we had suits, sportswear, punk, greaser, clown, ninja, gnome, you name it, pretty much everything was there. Of course, one of the few small things we can do for Arthur in Red Dead Redemption 2 is change how he wears some items, like undoing his top button on his shirt, or choosing to have his trousers go over his boots, or tucked in. Now for Buddy 2 this could be largely the same, like we can choose to have our shirts done up, tucked in, and a nice tie to look quite smart. Or have our top buttons undone, shirts untucked, and tie halfway down our necks to look more rough and unkempt. And this stuff should be controlled by a menu, much like the one in GTA Online. And I think having people, namely teachers and old people, react to us looking smart would be a nice attention to detail. Or, maybe it could even play a role in flirting, like Buddy 1 says girls won't want to kiss you if you're not dressed nicely. Of course that could mean, for example, one girl will prefer it if you look more rough and ragged, another one might prefer it if you actually look smart and put some effort into your appearance, that kind of stuff. And I do think maybe having your shirt become automatically untucked or having your tie yanked halfway down your neck should happen if you get into too many fights. Now while this isn't the same as Arthur Morgan losing his hat in a gunfight, I do think it could be the Buddy version of getting into a bad fight. You start off looking really nice and smart, but by the end of it, your shirt's untucked, your tie's yanked pretty much halfway down your neck, you get the idea. And I do think that having the option to have coats and jumpers, or sweaters, if you're American, over our shirts would be a good choice as well, much like this artwork that Jimmy Hopkins had. Now Red Dead Redemption 2 has a satchel where Arthur keeps his stuff, and I think for Buddy it should remain like it does in the first game, rather than force us to have a backpack or messenger bag or satchel on us at all times. But I think being able to buy a backpack could give us some benefits, like being able to hold more ammo, like stink bombs and firecrackers. Now in Red Dead Redemption 2, we have the option to upgrade the camp for everyone, like upgrading John's, Dutch's and Arthur's sleeping areas, upgrading the food quality for Pearson, etc. Now unless we're going to be playing as the principal in this, we most likely won't be able to upgrade cooking, but I do think we should be able to upgrade our dorm room to however we want it. Now for this part I'm mostly just thinking of cosmetic stuff, keep the stuff that changes gameplay to class rewards, much like the chemistry set in Buddy 1. I was thinking of stuff like buying posters, winning trophies and just placing them wherever we want to on our walls and shelves. Or if Rockstar are so hell bent on keeping the shop upgrade thing, maybe our character can pay a certain preppy who's got some very close ties to the principal, much like a certain Harrington is. to give us a better standard of living. So that's just my thoughts on how some Red Dead Redemption 2 features could work in Bully 2. I know some of them are more ideal than others, but yeah, it's just really what I could think of. So yeah, that's just basically it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, thank you for watching, and subscribe for more Bully based content.